Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Happy Friday, TGIF to everybody. Today I want to talk about this story that I recently came across, I want to say last night. It happened in Atlanta, Georgia, where a mother and police deputy was involved in a domestic dispute with her violent ex. And she's done several things, I guess, to, you know, follow protocol and, not be charged herself. She even tried to go to the judge and get a PPO, which was denied. Moments later, she ended up being unalived herself by her violent ex. So I just want to play this video and show you what had happened and talk about how the fact of the matter is that, how the fact that a law enforcement officer, no less, tried to get a PPO and was denied. This speaks volumes because it's like, they barely want to give them to regular citizens, but you would think that a fellow officer in blue, they wouldn't wait that long, they wouldn't take those type of steps towards their fellow officers to get a PPO. But it's not the actual police that denied her the PPO, it was actually the judge. But I just look at it as a judge, seeing as a member of law enforcement, that's something that you would want to grant her, being that she is a fellow member of law enforcement. But let me just share the video with you guys. I was kind of like shocked and dumbfounded when I first saw it, because I was just like, wow. Give me one moment, guys. Okay, so I do have the video pulled up, and before I do pull up that information, pull up that video, let me say this: the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, scholarship, and research. And another disclaimer: I am not a licensed practicing attorney and cannot give legal advice. All right, here we go, folks.
On the identity of that Gwinnett County deputy killed in a domestic disturbance happened over the weekend. Tyler Finger joins us now live with the very latest on what we know. Tyler, we know that there is a suspect in custody. We also know that this deputy's son was involved in what happened.
Yeah, Tom, good afternoon to you. New this hour, I just obtained court documents which show that the Gwinnett County deputy and that man have been in an on-again, off-again relationship for several years. And as recently as April, she filed for a protective order. All of this unfolded at this home here in Forsyth County over the weekend. That is where the relationship took a deadly turn when investigators say he killed her and wounded her son.
I'm gonna pause it real quick because before we move forward, so she asked for a PPO back in April. It is now October, so that was 6 months ago that she's felt as though her life was in danger, and nothing was done about it. Whether she was on the clock in her uniform or off the clock, nothing was done about it. But Atlanta is a different city. I know this from living there for a couple of years, so that's why I say Atlanta, they do things a little bit different. Fulton County, one of the worst counties in America, my personal opinion. I'm not a fan of their DA. Everybody knows who that is. Never have been, never will be. But yeah, that's crazy to me. And her son was actually wounded as well in the incident. Let me continue playing for you guys.
This is Gwinnett County Master Deputy Tamara Tewitt Bartlett. Investigators say she was killed Saturday night in what investigators call a domestic dispute. It happened at a home off McGinnis Ferry Road. Investigators say Deputy Tewitt Bartlett was shot and killed by 43-year-old Eric Sumner. They say her teenage son ran to a neighbor's house after he was shot multiple times. He told the neighbor his mom and her boyfriend were arguing when Sumner started shooting. That neighbor called 911 and treated the teen's wounds. And again, new at this hour, court documents show Sumner had a history of aggressive behavior directed at Tewitt Bartlett and her son. In April, she asked for a temporary protective order, saying she had been in an on-again, off-again relationship with Sumner for 3 years. She wrote, quote, "He's becoming more verbally abusive to me and my son. During heated discussions, his temperament goes from 0 to 100. I have requested multiple times for Mr. Sumner to leave," end quote. She said her 15-year-old son, quote, "is in fear because he has autism. That places his fear 10 times more, and he has called police on Sumner."
You know, it is different when you find out that a child was harmed, let alone an autistic child at 15 by this crazy man. That part is baffling to me, and they need to put him under the jail. Life, no parole. You are in Georgia, so if it was up to me, you'd be getting the death penalty. But that's just me. But this is crazy.
Sumner, she said the protective order was granted the day after he called 911 in April, but she later requested the judge to drop it. Records show her accused killer is a convicted felon, which means he is not allowed to have a gun. At this point, it's unclear how he obtained one. Deputy Tewitt Bartlett's family has previously faced tragedy. In 2021, another one of her sons died in a hit-and-run crash, which remains unsolved. I spoke to some neighbors today. Listen to what they had to say.
It's really heartbreaking. She was a wonderful woman. She never ever bothered anybody. Just whenever she passed by, she would wave and say hi. A tragedy like.
So I'm gonna pause it again. I didn't know that she was the one who dropped the PPO. I thought the PPO was denied since April, but it looks like she had got it approved and then she later changed her mind. But I can say to that they were in an off-again, on-again relationship, so that probably played a factor into her decision of dropping the PPO. I really can't say why she would, and I don't want to comment further on it, only because she is deceased, and it's just a tragic accident that happened. But the red flags were there. I'll just say that they were there. They've been there. Especially if the relationship was on again, off again. And it's just tragic. But let me just finish playing the video.
Like this, it's like very depressing. Being in the neighborhood, it feels like we are missing an important person in the neighborhood. We would not be able to see her again. That is heartbreaking.
Yeah, similar sentiments for a lot of people out here in this neighborhood. Some of them were very friendly with her. Others just say that they saw and waved at her every so often. They said the same thing. She was so kind, and that also her son was also very nice. The Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office says she served its community for nearly 20 years. In a statement, the agency said, quote, "Her commitment to protecting and serving made a lasting impact on all who had the honor of knowing and working alongside her," end quote. And just within the last about 2 hours, members of the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office were out here at this home. It's unclear what they were doing. They were inside, but obviously this is traumatic for them as they continue to grieve with her sudden loss after what the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office described as a deadly domestic dispute. I should mention Sumner is in custody. He was arrested after a brief chase in Monroe County. He faces multiple charges, including murder, and he is set to face a judge tomorrow for his first appearance.
Yeah, Tyler, just, as you say, a horrible situation for this deputy, her son, who was also involved in this. We know in situations where an officer is down, whether in the line of duty or in a situation like this, the sheriff's office will rally around the family of these officers, and it certainly takes its own hit in terms of, you never want to lose one of your deputies. How is the department reacting? Have you heard anything about how fellow officers have come together and sort of mourned her loss?
Well, so the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office has been relatively quiet, other than that statement that they released this morning, talking about just how tragic this is. She had been a member of the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office for nearly 20 years.
Let me pause it real quick. I want to see if I can find something on him. Give me 1 second, folks. See if I can find this buster. So that's crazy. I don't know how you go to harming an autistic child. Like, that's crazy. I'm just looking to see if I can pull up his information. Probably not. This is a different county than Fulton County. That's why I don't really know how Gwinnett County operate. And it looks like they want you to pay for something just to use this website. I'm searching now, folks. Hold on. Oh, it's a different county. That's probably why. This was just a senseless killing that did not need to happen at all. And the fact that you fled the scene and trying to hide proves that this should be first degree premeditated. I can't really find his information. All right. I thought I was going to be able to find his info, but I can't, folks. But I just want to know your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share this video, and have a good one. I'm out. Till later on to the next video.